गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत आनश्चिन्वन्नोतिभिस्सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाचैर्वाचिनीपति धीनामवित्रयवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् नेता देवी जुषमाणान आगात् विश्वाची भद्रा सुमनस्यमाना त्वया जुष्टानुदमाना दुरुक्तान् बृहद्वदेन विदते सुवीराः त्वया जुष्टऋषद्भवति देवी त्वया ब्रह्मा गतश्रीयुतत्वया त्वया जुष्टश्चित्रं विन्दते असुसानो जुषस्वत्रविनो न मेदे मेधां महीन्द्रो ददातु मेधां देवी सरस्वती मेधां मे अश्विना भुवादत्तां पुष्करस्रजा अप्सरासु च या मेधा गन्धर्वेषु च यं मनः दैवी मेधा सरस्वती सा मां मेधा सुरभिर्जुषताकु स्वाहा मेधा सुरभिर्विश्वरूपा हिरण्यवर्णा जगती जगन्या ऊर्जस्वती पयसा पिङ्गमाना सा मां मेधा सुप्रतीका जुषन्ताम् मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि अग्निस्तेजो ददातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि इन्द्रियं ददातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि सूर्यो राजो ददातु हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Sai Rams to one and all. Swami envisioned the Sarvadharma pillar to denote the unity of all faiths and religions, the underlying force being the principles of dharma. In the SSE programs in our center, we foster the unity of faiths in all our lesson plans and in all our celebrations. Unity of faiths is not just about tolerance. It is the acceptance of the fact that all paths are equally valid and that all paths lead to the same ultimate truth. As part of the Building Extension and Stupa project, the children of our Group 4 SSE wish to share some thoughts on religion, faith and dharma. We hope you enjoy all that they have to share. Om Sri Sai Ram.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. How's school?
It's been kind of stressful the past few weeks.
Yeah, I agree. I miss going in and seeing all my friends.
Yeah, same. Even Sai Center. As much as I like the Zoom calls that we do every week, I just miss the entire environment, you know?
Yeah, same here. I'm missing all my friends, my classmates, you guys, the gurus. Like, it's so much more different when you're in person.
Yeah, exactly. Did you hear about the new thing that they're doing at the center?
No, what are you talking about?
I think they're building a Sarvadharma Stupa.
What's the Sarvadharma Stupa?
To be honest, I'm not too sure. I think it has something to do with the different religions and dharma. Maybe we should Google it?
Yeah, we should. Oh, wait. I just found a podcast called Talk Dharma to Me. Let's watch it.
Yeah, okay.
Welcome to Talk Dharma to Me. We are your hosts, Pooja.
And Pranavi.
And in today's episode, we will cover a variety of concepts based around the Sarvadharma Stupa.
We've all heard about Dharma, but let's actually get into what it really means.
But before that, thank you to Dharmidas for sponsoring today's episode. Dharmidas footwear will help you always walk the path that best suits your needs.
You can get your own Dharmidas shoes at dharmidas.ca by using our special promo code, only available for our listeners and viewers. TDTM for 20% off. That's right, 20% off with the code TDTM20 at dharmidas.ca.
Dharma. This word is used all the time, but if I'm being honest, I don't think I know what it means. Do you?
Honestly, I have no idea either. Doesn't it mean right conduct?
I don't know. I guess we'll learn soon enough. Now let's turn it over to our friends, the Divine Law.
Hello, and welcome to today's episode, Divine Law, the game show where we unravel the mysteries of Dharma. Today's contestants are Anjali and Shruti. And I'm your host, Game Show Guru. Let's get right into it. Question 1. What is Dharma?
Isn't it righteousness?
I thought it was that which promotes the collective good.
Sure, yes. All acceptable answers. But let's go just a little deeper. There's this concept of paradharma or achara dharma. What is that?
The dharma of your guru?
It's achara dharma, not acharya dharma, silly. I think from SSE that I remember paradharma being dharma of the body. Is that right?
Exactly. Like the body changes, this paradharma also changes. When the body is a little baby, the paradharma is to play around. And as they get older, it is to be a student or a spouse. This is what paradharma is often referred to as duty. When time, spaces, and circumstances change, the paradharma of each individual person also changes. But this is too easy for y'all. Let's get some harder questions in here. What is mama dharma or atma dharma?
Well, our Atma is our true self. So, Atma Dharma must be the Dharma of the true self.
Yeah, because in paradharma, the actions that we take might seem a little selfish. But with atma dharma, the actions are totally selfless, rooted in pure love with no attachment whatsoever.
You know, I often forget who the host is. You are both right. When following Atma Dharma, God is always priority number 1, and it is the duty of every Jivatma or individual born into this world to work towards finding union with the Paramatma, Brahman or God. Last question. Everyone ready? In a moral conflict where your Atma Dharma and Paradharma are against each other, which should you listen to?
It'll always be Atma Dharma, right? One who is able to side with Atma Dharma is one who has no attachment, completely selfless. So, pretty much one who has successfully reached the spiritual goal. You know, that sounds pretty nice.
But if they're both righteous paths, how can they fight against each other?
Here is a great example that illustrates how one chooses Atma Dharma over Paradharma. So we know the story of Prahalada, right? His Paradharma would have been to side with his father and listen to him. After all, it is the duty of the son to listen to the father. But his Atma Dharma in this case was to stand up against his father and proclaim the truth that God prevails. God comes above even the physical father. And in such instances, when one is in alignment with Atma Dharma, God is always by their side and will shower them with blessings. In Prahalada's case, this was through Narasimha.
But that doesn't mean we should stop listening to our parents, right? Our duty as our child still exists.
We cannot jump to abiding by Atma Dharma without following Paradharma first.
That's like trying to run before you learn how to walk.
So what you're saying is, Paradharma as taught to us by our elders is typically consistent with Atma Dharma, but sticky situations can arise. These situations seem sticky because the analysis is either consciously or unconsciously based on selfish considerations. Then, Paradharma becomes shaky and risky to follow.
Amazing. My work here is done.
So, what's the prize?
The knowledge you gained. And this 100% off DPS coupon. Speaking of which, here's a word from our sponsor.
Are you lost? Do you not know what your purpose is? Do you feel like you have no compass for making decisions? Well, worry no more. DPS has you covered. DPS, the official Dharma positioning service. Whenever you stray away from the path that you choose to believe in, DPS will be there.
In essence, Dharma itself is living in harmony and coexisting with the nature around us. It is doing our duty to the fullest no matter the situation. So there are two types of Dharma, Paradharma and Atma Dharma. Paradharma is basically the day-to-day duties, which includes studying, going to work, and being a responsible member of our society.
Paradharma changes with time, space, and circumstance. However, the Atma Dharma will not. Now, it is crucial to know that Atma Dharma always, and I mean always, outranks Paradharma.
So now that we introduced Dharma a little bit, what does this and the stupa have to do with religion?
Let's turn it over to religious orientation to explain this further.
Welcome to this segment of our podcast, Religious Orientation, where we introduce you to the basics of religion. Today's episode is brought to you by Atma Travels. By bus, by train, car, or plane, the final destination is all the same. I'm Aarthi, and my co-hosts are...
Hey guys, it's Isha.
Hi, I'm Valina.
Hey guys, just to let you know, my allergies are not cooperating with me today, so just watch out.
I totally understand. My allergies are acting up so crazy lately.
Don't even worry, we're gonna fix it in editing anyways. So, in the previous segment, we heard that Dharma is really just a code of conduct for the world which encompasses these said and unsaid rules.
Yeah, and talking about Dharma, I'm reminded of the term Sarvadharma. The term Sarvadharma loosely translates to all Dharma or every Dharma. A Dharma every human must follow in his or her life, regardless of race, gender, or religion.
Then, this brings us to the focus of our conversation today. What is religion, and how does it relate to Dharma?
From what I know, religion is essentially a subsection within Dharma. So if you were to imagine the Dharma to be an umbrella term, then religion is something that falls under it. we normally discuss how religion is a way of life, where followers will integrate the teachings and values associated with their religion into everyday life.
Oftentimes, on a mundane level, we think that each religion is separate from the rest. True, they may entail different practices, but if you look closely, they all share similar values and all means to connect with God. Essentially, they're just different paths leading to God.
It is also known that religions may be different in the way they teach and practice, but ultimately, each religion guides individuals to the same goal, unity with the higher being.
That brings out an interesting question that we often find ourselves asking. If all religions lead to the same goal, why do we see various symbols on the Sarvadharma Stupa?
Well, I think to answer that, we should look back to the origins and ask where and how were the 6 religions formed.
In my research, Swami in the Sathya Sai Vahini says that there were no founders of each religion, but instead, there were men who lived such exemplary lives that people were inspired to follow in their footsteps.
Oh, so it's like saying young entrepreneurs look up to role models like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates. They tried to figure out what they did and how they got to where they are, but in no way did either of them create or discover entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
It always existed, but they gave it a new spin with people around who were so inspired by their vision and how they believed that their products would change the world.
And their products definitely did. That's why I'm filming on my iPhone right now.
I think to visualize this in another way, we can look at the metaphor that Swami has provided for us. Religion is the link between the individual and the universe, between the individual soul and God, Jiva and Deva. If the link does not exist, life becomes chaos. A cow caught on a hill, wanting to go to the opposite hill, but confronted with the flooded river in between, needs a bridge between the two.
Oh my God, that makes so much sense.
That is exactly what religion is. Between the hill of individual life and the region of the universal runs the flooded river of nature, with all its confusions and complexities. It is difficult to discover where it comes from and how it accumulates all the uproar, and where it ultimately ends. But fortunately, in every human community, we have bridge builders who help people to cross.
Yeah, these bridge builders are those exemplary humans who live their lives in accordance with Dharma, inspiring people like us to follow in their path. You know what I'm reminded of when I think about this? I think of the Buddha. Buddha never came down to earth with the purpose of starting Buddhism, but he lived such an exemplary life by practicing non-violence and leading such a dharmic life that it led him on the path of self-realization. Everyone around him was so inspired, and they wanted to follow in his footsteps that they looked up to his teachings and morals. Many years later, his teachings and way of life is now known as Buddhism.
Oh my God, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, I agree. This is exactly how all the religions were born. Exemplary people led their lives and had to make it appropriate for the time, the people they were around, and the geographic location they were in.
That makes so much sense. As we're talking about the stupa, I was reading Swami's Discourse from Dharma Kshetra, and he actually called the stupa the Dharma Stupa.
Okay, so there has to be some connection between Dharma and religion, since the stupa includes the symbols of various religions.
From my understanding, it seems that having a stupa with the religions encircling the bottom, all pointing to the singular lotus at the top, once again reiterates how they all bring man to the same destination of unity with God.
It makes perfect sense that Swami has said, "I have come not to disturb or destroy any faith, but to confirm each in his own faith, so that a Christian becomes a better Christian, a Muslim a better Muslim, and a Hindu a better Hindu." Because as we delve deeper into each of our own faiths, we will start understanding our relation to the world and who we truly are, helping us lead a dharmic life and get to the same goal.
You bring up an amazing point.
So essentially, the stupa, which has the religious symbols, signifies that we're all travelers on the same path, leading to that one great truth. Our journeys may be different, but in the end, we're all aiming to lead a dharmic life.
That's super helpful, laying it out all like this so that it makes so much more sense and helps us understand it a lot more in depth.
Well guys, that brings us to the end of our segment. I hope everyone enjoyed our conversation today.
Once again, thank you to Paramatma at Atma Travels for customizing our travel plans. And remember, by bus, by train, car, or plane, the final destination is all the same. Speaking of which, I'm super excited to see you guys at Dharmic Kshetra. How are you guys getting there?
I'm actually going to head there by train from Bangalore after meeting up with my family for a bit.
Yeah, I'm flying directly there because I want to get there as quickly as possible.
Oh great! I'm checking out at Jaipur with my friends and we'll drive down after.
When is your flight, Isha?
It's actually really soon, so I better get going.
Flight 108 leaving for Dharmic Kshetra.
That's our cue to leave. See you at our final destination.
Wow, I never really understood how religion was tied to dharma. But the fact that practicing each sincerely helps us all lead a dharmic life, it makes so much more sense to me now.
That being established, humans over time have failed to understand that each religion is merely a different path to get to the same goal. This misunderstanding has unfortunately led to misconceptions. Are you ready to delve deeper into these misconceptions? Introducing our next segment, Off the Mark.
Hello all you wonderful people and welcome to Off the Mark, a segment where we analyze the different ways we see religion. I'm your host Vijay Sai, joined with Nanda, Ishan, and Janan. We'd like to take some time to explore common misconceptions that tend to pop up in religion. It can happen pretty often, right? Many of us knowingly or unknowingly can very easily fall off the mark. So, in exploring this idea, we wondered, when does it start? When do we start developing ideas about something? Well, we're often conditioned from a very young age to think about things a certain way, and that's exactly why we need the right inputs. So, how do we ensure the children of today will grow into good members of society? Well, our job is to correct our behavior and cultivate the right thoughts and have the right inputs ourselves so that we condition those around us to be good, to be kind, and to be loving. With such an idea in mind, we thought it best to ask two of our younger Sai brothers what they want to learn about so that we can clear up some of the common misconceptions many of us have around religion today. So, Arab and Ashrit, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
I want you to select one of the religions you see, and your elder brothers will address some of the common misconceptions today. So, what religion do you want to start with?
I want to start with Islam first. Let's start with Islam.
Islam first. Sounds good to me. Alright, Janan, let's talk about Islam. Time and again, Muslim leaders and groups have condemned terrorism done in the name of Islam.
I've heard that too, Vijay Sai. The religion of Islam condemns violence and terrorism, and values moral principles like unified love and peacemaking.
And they do love their love and peacemaking. Anti-Muslim extremists wrongfully ignore passages from the Quran, seriously, to promote their own agenda.
That's ridiculous. Can you believe that? Well, don't get it wrong. Islam doesn't condemn different faiths, cultures, or races.
Okay, but here's the thing, Janan. ISIS and other group members ignore the Quran quote in Surah 5, verse 32, which says, and I quote, "If anyone kills a person, it is as if he kills all mankind. While if anyone saves a life, it is as if he saves the lives of all of mankind."
Wow, that's a powerful quote. Well, in the Quran, there are verses revealed by Prophet Muhammad that promote diplomacy, non-violence, and peace building. Surah 22, 40-41 allows Islamic disciples to fight in acts of self-defense, which gives Muslims the freedom and power to protect themselves from terror, persecution, and harm only when appropriate.
You know what, Janan? You're right. In reality, genuine Muslims are loving and noble people. And knowing that, it's important we address another misconception I've heard about, the oppression of women in Islam.
Yeah, I've heard that too a lot of times. People think that Islam oppresses and demeans women by valuing them as inferior, but in reality, they preach female empowerment and dignity with progressive views that are often overlooked.
Now, Islam expects all women and men to be treated the same, both worldly and spiritually. Allah says in the Quran, Surah 33, verse 36, "Surely, men who submit themselves to God, and women who submit themselves to Him, and believing men and believing women, obedient men and women, truthful men and women, and humble men and women, men and women who give alms, and men who fast, and women who fast, and men who remember Allah much, and women who remember Him. Allah has prepared for all of them forgiveness and a great reward." Honestly, Janan, that just makes it so clear. I have no idea where this misconception even comes from.
It's crazy. That's an awesome quote that you brought up. I agree, Vijay. Islamic teachings don't promote or standardize women oppression. According to Islamic values and messages, in the eyes of Allah, both men and women should be equally treated, perceived, and given the respect and dignity to fulfill their God-ordained duties and roles.
Very interesting, right, Ashrit? Right, Araf?
Yeah, very interesting.
So, what religion do you both want to explore now?
Now, let's explore Zoroastrianism. What do you think, Araf? Sure. I saw on the Sarva Dharma symbol there is a burning flame that represents this religion.
Hey Ishan, did you know that in the religion of Zoroastrianism, a common misconception about the religion and its disciples is that they worship fire? Well, in reality, fire is to Zoroastrianism as the stone is to Islam and the cross is to Christianity.
Yeah, I know it's crazy how despite being from the 6th century BC, most people still think that Zoroastrians worship fire.
It is crazy, Ishan, but that's actually not the case. Fire is simply a symbol. The real deity is Ahura Mazda.
Of course, because fire symbolizes purity in Zoroastrianism, because every Zoroastrian ceremony or ritual is sacredly performed with the presence of holy fire.
That's interesting. Well, Zoroaster, the founder of Zoroastrianism, says in Haptan Yasht, Yasna 36:3, "O fire, you are the symbol of Ahura Mazda. You are the symbol of the beneficent mind."
Interesting. So, fire is used because it symbolically represents the illuminated mind and the light of Ahura Mazda, which is their god.
That's fascinating. Yeah, so fire is especially significant because it represents the individual spark in every human being.
And these sparks are truth, cosmic order, righteousness, divine law, energy, and the transcendent universal spark that unites all divine fires.
Awesome. Well, this is why fire is so often seen in Zoroastrian heritage, traditions, arts, and culture. Isn't it such a fascinating religion?
Wow, there's so much to learn and appreciate about each religion. This is helpful. What religion should we look at next?
How about we look into Hinduism next?
Sounds good to us!
Oh, Nanda, a common misconception about Hinduism is that Hindus exclusively worship idols.
Well, Ishan, it's true that Hindus use idols as a part of their worship, but it's important to understand the symbolism behind it. As Swami says, every person begins to learn about objects only in relation to their own forms.
Yeah, if I showed you something and told you it was a flower, you'd probably remember it as a flower. But then if I showed you something else and then told you it was a pencil, you would remember it as a pencil. So then the problem is, how do you visualize something that has no form?
Exactly. The reason that Hindus use idols is because they are the easiest way for them to understand God. Only after understanding the physical God can they start to understand the formless.
Yeah, and then once you understand the formless, you can begin to understand that we may be no different than God.
That's really well put, Ishan. Another misconception that I wanted to bring up is that the caste system comes from Hinduism.
Yeah, the initial system of classification in Hinduism was actually the Varna system. And the Varna system split people up into 4 categories based on their line of work. For example, one of the classes, which was the Kshatriyas, was the class which the warriors were a part of.
In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna actually mentions this. He says that he is the creator of the Varna system. And he also said that the 4 classes, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, were distinguished by their line of work.
Yeah, and it's important to note that there is no mention of birth as a way of deciding which class someone belongs to.
So basically, the Varna system is not based on birth, while the modern caste system is. So we can see that there are significant differences between the two.
And we can also see that the modern caste system, as is currently known, arises from societal inequities developed over time rather than the religion of Hinduism itself.
Wow, this is a lot of information. I'm happy we get to understand the religions in the Sarvadharma Stupa a little bit better. Now, I know a little bit more about each of the religion when I see the Sarvadharma Stupa at the center.
Great point, guys. That's exactly why we're doing this. Well, before I move on, we have a note from our sponsor, and then we'll be exploring Christianity. Have you been having trouble seeing clearly? Not physically. I mean, do you find that no matter what you do, your own biases and preconceived notions about those around you tend to get the better of you? Kind of like you're seeing the world in black and white. Am I right? Well, look no further. Be off the mark no longer with our new patent technology. We offer you Sathya Sai Baba spectacles, glasses that are stylish and also allow you to see the world through the lens of love and love alone. Pre-order at sathyaSaiSpectacles.com. Pickup available at the Sathya Sai Baba Center of Toronto, York. And we're back.
We're exploring the misconceptions in Christianity now, right?
You got it, Ashrit. Okay, Nanda, I have another misconception for you, this time from Christianity. Some people think that all Christians believe the same things.
Yeah, Vijay Sai, this sometimes gets mixed up, but not everyone that believes in Christ practices the same way. There are many practices such as baptisms, communions, confessions, and even worship styles that the different denominations use. Christianity has hundreds of branches, thousands of churches, and even more communities, and each of them practice their faith in a different way.
If we take a look at each denomination, they have their own different values. Some branches, for instance, Catholicism, have a unified church with the Pope as the ultimate leader, while others, such as Baptists, are entirely independent with each individual group governing itself.
Yeah, similar to that, some groups only use the Bible as the sole basis for their teachings, while others have church leaders, such as the Pope, who also influence their teachings.
Speaking of following the faith in different ways, Nanda, as a non-Christian, what's the first thing that comes to mind when I talk about Christianity?
Christmas.
Yeah, but did you know that not all Christians celebrate Christmas? There are millions of Christians who don't observe Christmas. Among them are Quakers, Jehovah's Witnesses, and members of the Churches of Christ.
Yeah, some of the Christian branches that don't celebrate the holiday on December 25th, as we know it, they contend that there's nothing in the Bible that says that Christ was born on that specific day. There's several reasons that these groups don't celebrate Christmas. For example, Quakers believe that every single day is a holy day, and Jehovah's Witnesses believe that all birthdays, even Jesus's, shouldn't be celebrated. and other Christians prefer to observe holy days that the Bible emphasizes, such as the ones that are prescribed in the Old Testament.
Now this one shocked me. There are some churches, such as the Russian Orthodox Church, that don't even celebrate Christmas on December 25th. They believe that Christmas comes on the 6th or 7th of January. So don't look at a Christian weird if they say no to your Christmas party.
Well, as you can see, there are so many ways that Christians choose to love Christ. The religion's long and rich history has resulted in a bunch of branches that each adhere to their own values, and we should make an effort to understand their different practices.
Did you both know there were so many ways you could understand the different religions of the world?
Well, I knew different people believed different things, but I didn't know about all of this. I like understanding all these religions better. It helps us practice love and love only. I think that's what Swami wants. Now, what religion is next? Can we take a look into Buddhism?
Absolutely. Buddhism can be intimidating for some people because they believe that to be a Buddhist, you must do intense meditation for hours on end every single day. Something that can seem very, very difficult.
Yeah, Vijay, it's a very simple misconception, and I think once people realize that in reality, the majority of Buddhists didn't even meditate in the past, they'll probably be a lot more open-minded.
100% Ishan. You know, in a monastery, a normal Buddhist would focus on reciting the Buddhist texts known as sutras.
It's the same way an average Christian goes to church and listens to the gospel.
The thing is, Ishan, meditation was considered a specialty for the monks, and it was the masters who were the only ones to live away from society for months on end at the foot of a tree, practicing meditation.
And this was because it was believed the intensity and energy and application made it something that the Buddha didn't consider appropriate to teach to a common man.
It was only after the 20th century that it was considered okay to teach meditation.
So you don't have to feel intimidated, because you too can be a Buddhist without doing meditation. Now, since we're talking about Buddhism, let's not miss the mark on its founder, Siddhartha Gautama Buddha, or better known as the Buddha.
Contrary to the chubbier laughing Buddha idol, which many think is the Buddha, the real Buddha was an ancient philosopher, meditator, spiritual leader, and religious preacher.
You know, the origin of this confusion comes from the history of the laughing Buddha, whose real name was Hotai, or Putai.
He was a Chinese Zen monk who lived over 1,000 years ago, who many believed to be the future Buddha due to his caring and helping nature.
Funny enough, when his students asked him whether he was the Buddha, which meant an enlightened one, he just laughed it off.
I like what they said and explained about Buddhism. There's a lot of misconceptions out there. There's so much to learn and know about all these religions.
Definitely. It's a journey. We should always try our best to inquire with sincere and pure intentions. Okay, so finally we have Judaism.
The final religion that we'll be discussing today is Judaism, and the misconception is that Hanukkah is the Jewish Christmas.
Well, Nanda, the auspicious Jewish holiday of Hanukkah lasts for 8 nights and days. This time frame of the holiday has a meaningful significance, which honors iconic Jewish priest Judas Maccabee.
Judas Maccabee was the triumphant savior that overcame a Greek-Syrian revolution in 165 before Christ. Hanukkah commemorates his victory and the preservation and the long-term prosperity of the Jewish religion.
So, going back to the misconception, Hanukkah is, in fact, not the Jewish Christmas.
There are a couple of reasons people have this misconception. One of them is that Hanukkah is celebrated around the same time of the year as Christmas. And another is that in the 18th and 19th centuries, Jewish families who moved to Christian-majority areas used it to make sure that their children didn't feel left out during Christmas time.
I also grew up believing in this misconception as well. I've learned that only major holidays in the religion of Judaism are mentioned in the Hebrew Bible. This is also referred to as the Old Testament by Christians. These holidays include Passover in April, Shavuot in May, and Yom Kippur in September. Interestingly enough, Hanukkah isn't actually mentioned in the Hebrew Bible.
Well, Jenna, that's because Hanukkah was only created around 2 centuries after the Hebrew Bible was completed.
That's fascinating. Well, nonetheless, Nanda, it's still a meaningful and honorable holiday that Jewish people commonly celebrate with love, care, and devotion.
Alright, so Arav, Ashrit, what did you guys think?
I was so surprised to know there were so many different parts of religion. So many things we may not understand.
And so many things we can be wrong about.
Well, we should put an effort and use our power of discrimination to clear our doubts and understand religions and the purpose they serve in the right way, just as our sisters described earlier. Keep on the journey and I'm sure we'll reach him. And with that, we end our segment of Off the Mark today, with the hopes that all of you at home are a little bit more on the mark. Now, back to our friends in the Talk the Dharma to Me studios.
I think it's safe to say that misconceptions arise from ignorance. I came across a quote by Sri Sathya Sai Baba that talked about this topic specifically, but I can't really remember how it goes.
I actually know the quote. I think it goes like the Christian becomes a better Christian, the Muslim a better Muslim, and the Hindu a better Hindu. What this means is that if each one of us dives deeper into our own faith, we will come to the realization that we're all travelers heading to the same destination, but just on different paths. And with that, we wrap up this week's episode.
Thanks once again for Dharmitas for sponsoring today's podcast. Listeners, make sure you use our special promo code TDTM20 for 20% off at dharmitas.ca. Dharmitas will help you always walk the path that best suits your needs. That's all from us at the Talk Dharma to Me studios. See you all next week.
Wow, that podcast was really insightful.
Yeah, I know. I really enjoyed it. It was super informative.
I always thought about religion individually as a system of beliefs associated with Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, etc. Even though each religion has its own practices and symbols, all of their paths lead us to the same goal, allowing us to live dharmic life.
Yeah, I agree. Through religion, we are able to integrate values and teachings into our daily lives. It's like this quote I found when we were searching up the podcast. It's by Swami. Swami says, "The basic truth in all religions is one and the same. The philosophical ideas or practices and methods of approach may vary, but the final objective and goal is only one." All religions proclaim the oneness of divinity and preach the cultivation of universal love without regard to caste, creed, country, or color.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting that our thoughts on other religions that we aren't used to practicing may not even be true. All religions may have their different approaches, but at the end of the day, they all convey the same message.
Right! The podcast really outlined what the stupa represents, specifically that practicing one's religion sincerely leads us to a dharmic life.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Hopefully we'll see each other at the center stupa unveiling. Oh, well, I think I have to go and eat dinner now, so I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye!
Bye.
My most humble pranams at the lotus feet of our dear Mother Sai. Respected elders, brothers and sisters, Om Shri Sai Ram. On behalf of the Group 4 Gurus, I want to express my gratitude to those that made this offering possible. To our Group 4 girls and boys who constantly step up in these uncertain times, managing online school and online recording sessions, to go above and beyond to create an offering that is dynamic while remaining in depth, bringing complex topics to life in a bite-sized manner was no easy feat that was only accomplished by their love towards Swami. Be it script writing, recording and re-recording, digital visual arts, editing, and all the extra add-ons that is required for an online offering, was done with willingness and a smile on their faces. We are extremely proud and awed at your capabilities. You are incredible. Next, we would like to thank our education coordinators and the Building Extension and Stupa devotional team who have been a constant guide, who have supported and accommodated our needs along the way. We truly appreciate you. And lastly, to Swami, who is all our strength and inspiration, the one who plans the idea and the one who executes it. To you, Swami, we are immensely grateful for having us as your instruments, for enabling us to be in your thought always, and giving us an opportunity to contemplate on your teachings. Swami, please bless us with this always. Jai Sai Ram.
ప్రేమస్వరూపులారా,
embodiments of divine love.
ప్రతి వ్యక్తికి కూడాను ఓ మాతృమూర్తి ఉన్నది.
For every individual there is the mother.
అట్టి మాతృమూర్తి యొక్క ఆనందాన్ని, ప్రేమతత్వాన్ని పొందలేనటువంటి పుత్రుడే కాదు.
A son who does not attain the love of the mother and understand the joy of the mother is no son at all.
అట్టి పుత్రుని ప్రేమించి చెంత చేర్చి ఆదరించి హత్తుకొని ఆనందపరిచేటువంటి తల్లులు కూడాను చాలా అరుదైపోయినారు.
In today's world, the mothers who bring up their children with proper care, love them and bring up with all the affection are very rare indeed.
ఒకానొక సమయం లోపల ఈశ్వరమ్మ చెప్తూ వచ్చేటువంటిది.
Earlier, Ishwaramba used to tell us,
మేము బుక్కపట్నం నుంచి వచ్చేటప్పటికి
when Swami came from Bukkapatnam,
పిల్లలందరినీ కూర్చోబెట్టుకొని
she would gather children around,
నాయన ఏం జరిగింది ఈ పొద్దు స్కూల్లో,
and she would ask the children.
ఆమెకి ఏమి ఒక అక్షరం రాదు.
She was an illiterate.
ఏం జరిగింది?
What happened in the school today?
అమ్మా, ఈనాడు కొండప్ప అనేటువంటి టీచరు మా రాజును బెంచి ఎక్కించాడమ్మా అన్నాడు.
One of the children said, Mother, today the teacher by name Kondappa made Sathya stand on the bench.
బాబు, కొండప్పని మీరు అట్లా అనకండి. సత్యం ఏదో తప్పు చేసింటేనే దాన్ని ఎక్కించింటాడు, అంతేకాని నిష్కారణంగా పనిష్మెంట్ ఇవ్వడు గురువు.
Ishwaramba said, Kondappa will not punish anybody without any reason. Maybe Sathya has committed some fault.
నన్ను అడిగింది, సత్య ఏం తప్పు చేశావు అని.
Ishwaramba asked Swami, what mistake did you commit?
నేను జరిగినట్టు చెప్పాను.
Swami explained whatever had happened.
నేను చెప్పిన నోట్స్ ఎవరెవరు రాసుకున్నారో వాళ్ళు తెచ్చి టేబుల్ పైన పెట్టండి. నోట్స్ రాసుకోకుండా ఉండేటువంటి వాళ్ళు స్టాండ్ అప్ ఆన్ ది బెంచ్.
Kondappa told his students, whoever has copied the notes given by me, keep it here. Those who have not written the notes, stand up on the bench.
నేను ఎక్కినాను.
And Sathya got onto the bench.
కాబట్టి నేను రాసుకోలేదు.
I did not write the notes.
నేను ఎక్కినాను, అది నా తప్పే.
It is my mistake. Therefore I got onto the bench.
అయితే ఒక అతిగా ప్రసంగంగా ఒక పాదం చెప్పాను.
But there was something which was said by the teacher.
సార్, నోట్స్ రాసుకున్నంత మాత్రమే వాళ్ళంతా జవాబు చెప్పగలుగుతున్నారా?
Swami asked the teacher, will all the students who have written down the notes?
నేను నోట్స్ రాసుకోలేదు.
I have not written down notes.
మీరు అడిగిన ప్రశ్నకు నేను జవాబిస్తాను అన్నాడు.
You ask me any question, I will answer your question.
ఓ, నీకు ఇంత అహంకారమా అన్నాడు. 3 పీరియడ్లకు నువ్వు బెంచ్ పైన కూర్చోవాలన్నాడు.
The teacher told Sathya, you are very egoistic. For 3 periods, stand up on the bench.
సరే, నేను 3 పీరియడ్ బెంచ్ పైన నిల్చుకున్నాను.
Therefore, Swami stood on the bench for 3 periods.
మహబూబ్ ఖాన్ వచ్చాడు.
The other teacher, Mahbub Khan, came.
అతను కులములో మహమ్మడుని కానీ చాలా ఉత్తమ చిత్తుడు.
He was a Mohammedan and he was a very noble person.
నా క్లాస్కు వస్తుండగానే నా ముఖం కనిపించింది.
When he entered the classroom, he saw Swami's face.
కొండప్ప అని పిలిచాడు. కొండప్పను.
He called Kondappa.
ఎందుకు ఈ బాయ్ని ఎక్కిపించావు?
Why did you make this boy stand on the bench?
నోట్స్ రాసుకోలేదు అన్నాడు.
He did not write down the notes.
నిజమే, రాసుకోలేదు. నీవు అడిగిన ప్రశ్నకు జవాబిచ్చాడా?
But did he not answer all your questions?
జవాబిచ్చాడు.
He has answered all the questions.
జవాబిచ్చినప్పుడు అదే నీకు చాలు.
When he has answered, it is all right.
కాబట్టి నువ్వు చేసిన తప్పు.
Therefore, what you are doing is wrong.
అతన్ని దించు అన్నాడు.
Make him get down from the bench.
నేను చెప్పినటువంటి దాని ఆజ్ఞ పాలించేంత వరకు దింపను అన్నాడు.
As long as he obeys me, I will not make him get on the bench.
సరే, బెల్ కొట్టింది.
The bell rang.
అందరు టీచర్స్ వెళ్ళిపోయారు.
All the teachers went away.
ఈ కొండప్ప కూడా ఇంకో క్లాస్కు పోవాలా?
Kondappa has to go to the next class.
ఆ కుర్చీ నుంచి లేస్తుంటే కుర్చీ కూడా ఖర్చుకుంది.
When he tried to get up from the chair was stuck to him. It came up.
ఇది ఏమిటిది? ఏమైనా ముళ్ళు కుచ్చుకుందా, ముళ్ళు ఏమైనా తగులుకుందా అని ఏమేమో చూచాడు. ఏమీ లేదు.
He started wondering what has happened. Is there any thorn which is stuck?
అప్పుడు మహబూబ్ ఖాన్ చెప్పాడు.
Mahbub Khan said,
కొండప్ప, వీడి పిల్లవాడగాని కనిపిస్తుంటుండది చాలా గొప్ప మహత్తరమైనటువంటి శక్తి.
Here is a great power. He is not a very small boy.
నిష్కారణంగా ఇంకొకరికి పనిష్మెంట్ ఇవ్వకూడదు మనం.
You have punished him without any reason.
అతన్ని కూర్చోమని చెప్పు అన్నాడు.
You make him sit down.
సరే, మహమ్మద్ చెప్పాడు కదా అని సిట్ డౌన్ అన్నాడు.
Kondappa said, sit down.
ఇతను గెట్ అప్.
And Kondappa could get up from the chair. He could get up from the chair when Swami sat down.
ఈశ్వరమ్మకు వచ్చి చెప్తూ ఉండినారు.
All this was being told to Ishwaramba.
ఆనాడు ఈశ్వరమ్మ చెప్పింది.
Then Ishwaramba said,
నాయన సత్యం,
son Sathya,
గురువులు కూడా నీవు ఈ విధంగా శిక్షించకూడదు.
You cannot punish teachers like this.
నేనేమి శిక్షించలేదు.
I did not punish.
తన శిక్ష తానే అనుభవించుకున్నాడు.
In fact, he punished himself.
అని చెప్పి ఆనాడు ఒక ఉత్తమమైనటువంటి పదవులు చెప్పింది.
And Swami said on that day, a noble teaching.
పిల్లలందరికీ, నాయనలారా, మీరు స్కూలుకు పోతున్నారు, చదువు నేర్చుకుంటున్నారు.
Children, you are going to the school.
చదువు నేర్చుకున్నందుకు ఏమని చెప్పేశారు?
You study there, but what are you learning?
సాక్షరుడు అని పిలిచేటువంటి వాడు ఆనాడు.
That day, those days, they were being called
ఉత్తమ
literates.
చదువును అభ్యసించినటువంటి వాడిని సాక్షర అనేటువంటి బిరుదు ఇచ్చేటువంటి వారు.
They would get the title literate, sakshara. సాక్షర.
ఆ సాక్షర అనేటువంటిది సద్వినియోగం చేయకుండా పోతే రాక్షస అయిపోతుంది.
And if you don't utilize the education properly, you become rakshasa.
కనుక మీరు సాక్షర అనేటువంటి బిరుదును సంపాదించుకోండి నాయనా.
You earn the title of sakshara.
చెప్పి అప్పుడు నాకు ఒక మాట చెప్పింది.
Then mother told Swami,
ఎట్టి సమయం నందైనా సరియే,
whatever may be,
ఎట్టి కాలం నందైనా సరియే,
at whatever time,
ఎట్టి ప్రదేశం నందైనా సరియే,
whatever place,
ఎట్టి వ్యక్తితోనైనా సరియే,
whatever person,
నువ్వు ద్వేషించవద్దు.
don't hate anyone.
అందరినీ ప్రేమించు.
Love everyone.
ఆ ప్రేమనే నిన్ను ప్రేమిస్తుంది.
That love will give you love.
అని చెప్పింది.
That's what she said.
ఆనాటి నుంచి నేటి వరకు నేను అందరినీ ప్రేమిస్తున్నాను.
That day till today, Swami is loving everyone.
అందరూ నన్ను ప్రేమిస్తున్నారు.
Everyone loves Swami.
మనం ప్రేమించినప్పుడే ఇతరులు మనల్ని ప్రేమిస్తారు.
When you love others, others will love you.
మనం ఇతరులను ప్రేమించినప్పుడు ఇతరులు మనల్ని ఎంత ప్రేమిస్తారు?
If you don't love others, how can others love you?
కనుకనే ప్రేమను ఇచ్చాలి, ప్రేమను పుచ్చుకోవాలి.
Give love and take love.
ఇది వన్ వే ట్రాఫిక్ కాదు.
It is not one way traffic.
ఇచ్చి పుచ్చుకునేటువంటిది ప్రేమ.
You have to give and take.
కనుకనే తల్లి కొన్ని సమయాల్లో ఎంత సీక్రెట్ అనగా పవిత్రమైన పదాలు మనకు బోధిస్తూ ఉంటుంది.
The mother many times teaches us many sacred secrets and teachings.
ఈ పవిత్రమైన పదాలను బోధించడానికి చదువు సంధ్యలు అక్కర్లేదు.
Education is not required to give this sacred education.
చదువు ఎంతో గొప్ప చదువులు చదువుతారు.
There may be people with great education.
కానీ చదువు ప్రయోజనం ఏమిటి?
What is the use of that education?
ఆచరణలో శూన్యం.
But actually in practice they don't do anything.
కనుక చదివినందుకు ఒక్కటైనా మనం ఆచరణలో పెట్టాలి.
Because of the good education you have got, you have to practice something.
ఈనాడు మీరు ఇంత భక్తిగా పూజలు చేస్తున్నారు, భజనలు చేస్తున్నారు.
With devotion you sing bhajans and do worship.
కానీ ఆ భజనలో ఉన్నటువంటి ఒక్క పదం యొక్క అర్థాన్ని మనం ఆచరణలో పెడితే చాలు.
You have to just practice one word of that bhajan. Enough.
భగవంతుడు ప్రేమ స్వరూపుడు అంటున్నారు.
God is the embodiment of love.
ప్రేమ స్వరూపుడు అన్నప్పుడు ఆ ప్రేమను మీరు కొంచెం ఆచరణలో పెట్టండి.
Therefore that love you have to practice even a little.
అదే మనం నిజమైనటువంటి ప్రేమతత్వాన్ని గుర్తించిన వారం.
That is how we have to practice the principle of love.
ఈశ్వరమ్మ ఇంకా ఎంతమందికో ఎన్ని రకములైనటువంటి బోధనలో చేసేటువంటిది.
She also gave very good teachings to many people.
ప్రశాంతి నిలయంలో చాలా మంది వచ్చి చేరేవాడంతా ఆమె రూముకు పోయేటువంటి వారు.
Many devotees who gathered in Prashanti Nilayam would go to her room.
ఆమెకు ఒక చిన్న రూమ్ ఇచ్చింటి నేను.
Swami had given a small room to Vishramba.
చెప్పేది.
And there people would go there.
ఆ రూమ్ లో కూర్చుంటే అందరూ ఆడవారంతా అక్కడ పోయేది.
The lady devotees would gather there.
అమ్మా మీరు స్వామికి చెప్పండి, మేము చాలా దినాలు అయ్యి వచ్చింది, మాకు చేతిలో డబ్బు లేదు, ఖర్చు అయిపోతుండాది, మీరు చెప్పి మాకు ఇంటర్వ్యూస్ ఇప్పించండి అనేది.
The devotees would go and pray to Ishwarama. We have been here for a long time. We don't have any money to stay here longer. Please tell Swami.
ఒక్క జవాబు చెప్పేటువంటిది.
But she would give the right answer.
అమ్మా స్వామి చూడటానికి చిన్నవాడే కానీ ఎవ్వరి మాట వినడు.
Swami may look small but will never listen to anyone.
మీ ప్రాప్తి కొద్దీ మీకు జరిగిపోతుంటది.
Depending on your destiny he will reward you.
నేను చెప్పినా మీరు చెప్పినా ఎవరు చెప్పినా కానీ స్వామి ఫాలో చేయడు.
I may tell him but he will not follow it.
కనుక స్వామి తత్వాన్ని మీరు ఇది గుర్తించుకుంటే చాలన్నాడు.
You have to recognize this divine principle of Swami.
ఈ విధంగా ప్రతి ఒక్కదాని కూడా అతి సూక్ష్మమైనటువంటి పదాలు చెప్పేటువంటిది.
She would give her subtle teachings.
రెండు మాటలు చెప్పింది.
There were two words which she uttered.
సత్యం, నీవు ఎన్నో గొప్ప పేర్లు పొందినావు.
Satyam, you have so much of good name and fame.
ప్రపంచమంతా నీ దగ్గరికి వస్తుంటారు.
The whole world is coming to you.
కానీ ఆ ప్రపంచమంతా కూడాను శాంతిపరచడానికి మీరు సంకల్పించండి.
And you should wish for the peace of the whole world.
అప్పుడు నేను చెప్పాను.
Then Swami said,
ప్రపంచం యొక్క శాంతికి నేను సంకల్పించడం కాదు.
It is not that I have to make up my mind for the peace of the world.
ఎవరి శాంతిని వారే పొందాలి.
Each person has to attain his or her
ప్రతి
peace.
మానవుడు కూడా శాంతి స్వరూపుడే.
Every man is the embodiment of peace.
ఎవరి వారికి శాంతి స్వరూపుడే.
Each is the embodiment of peace.
You are the embodiment of peace.
You are the embodiment of peace.
You are the embodiment of truth.
You are the embodiment of truth.
ట్రూత్ నీవే, పీస్ నీవే, ప్రేమ నీవే.
Your truth, your peace, your love.
నీ ప్రేమను నీవు అనుభవించు.
You experience your own love.
నీ శాంతిని నీవు పొందు.
You attain your own
నీ
peace.
సత్యాన్ని నీవు ఆచరించు.
And you practice.
సత్యం వద, ధర్మం చర.
Utter the truth, practice dharma.
సత్యాన్ని పలకండి.
Speak truth.
ధర్మాన్ని ఆచరించండి.
Practice dharma.
ఈ రెండు ఉంటే చాలు మనకు.
The two are enough.
సర్వము మనకు లభ్యమైపోతాయి.
Everything you can attain.
కనుక అట్టి మాటలు ఆనాటి నుంచి నేటి వరకు కూడాను ఎందరో మహాత్ములు ఉన్నారు.
There are many great such mothers in the world.
చాలా మంది తల్లులు చెప్పినటువంటి మాటలను అలక్ష్యం చేసిపోతుంటారు.
Many people ignore what mothers tell them.
అది చాలా తప్పు.
It's a mistake.
తల్లులు ఎంతో హృదయపూర్వకంగా చెప్తారు.
Mothers speak from their heart.
దాన్ని అర్థం చేసుకోలేరు.
You are not able to understand it.
అర్థం చేసుకోకుండా అలక్ష్యం చేస్తే రేపటి దినము నీ యొక్క పరిస్థితి అట్టే అవుతుంది.
If you ignore their teaching, naturally you will not prosper.
తల్లి మాటలను మనం గౌరవించినప్పుడు,
when you respect the word of the mother,
మన మాటలను మన బిడ్డలు గౌరవిస్తారు.
others will respect our words.
కనుకనే మన బిడ్డలు మనం గౌరవించాలంటే మనం మొట్టమొదటి తల్లి మాటల్ని గౌరవించాలి.
If others have to respect our words, we have to respect our mother's word.
ప్రేమ స్వరూపులైన విద్యార్థులారా, విద్యార్థినీలారా,
embodiments of love, boys and girls,
తల్లిదండ్రుల మాటలు వినండి.
you have to listen to your parents.
సర్వ విద్యలు మనకు లభ్యమైపోతాయి.
You will get all types of education.
సర్వ శక్తులు మనకు చేకూరుతాయి.
You will get all types of strength.
కనుక శక్తుల కోసం మనం ప్రాకులాడనక్కర్లేదు.
We do not struggle for attaining power and strength.
కర్తవ్యాన్ని నిర్వర్తించడమే మన ప్రధానమైన కర్మలు.
To discharge our duty is our important duty.
కనుక ఆ విధంగా తల్లిదండ్రుల మాటలు ఉల్లంఘించకుండా ప్రేమతో అనుసరించి మీ జీవితాన్ని సంధ్యం చేసుకొని మీ బిడ్డలు కూడా మిమ్మల్ని ఆనందపరిచేటువంటి ఒక మార్గానికి తెప్పించుకుంటారని నేను ఆశిస్తూ ఆశీర్వదిస్తూ నా ప్రసంగాన్ని విరమిస్తున్నాను.
Don't defy your mother's word. You accept your mother's teachings and mother's words with love and practice it, and then when you grow up as parents, your children will respect you and serve you. And Swami brings his discourse to
Satyam Gnanamanantam Brahma. Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma. Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Satyam Brahma. Jnanam Brahma. Anantam Brahma. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma.
तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्
श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रयवतु। गणेशाय नमः। सरस्वत्यै नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय। ॐ नमस्ते रुद्रमन्यव उतोत इषवे नमः। नमस्ते अस्तु धन्वने बाहुभ्यामुत ते नमः। यात इषुः शिवतमा शिवं बभूव ते धनुः। शिवा शरव्या यातवतया नो रुद्रमृडय। या ते रुद्रशिवा तनूरघोरा पापकाशिनी। तया नस्तनुवाशन्तमया गिरिशन्ताभिचाकचीः। यामिषुं गिरिशन्तहस्ते बिभर्षस्तवे। शिवां गिरित्रतां कुरु माहि गुंसीः पुरुषं जगत्। शिवेन वचसा त्वा गिरिशाच्छावदामसि। यथा नः सर्वमिज्जगदयक्ष्मगुं सुमना असत्। अध्यवोचदधिवक्ता प्रथमो दैव्योऽभिषक्। अहीघश्च सर्वान् जम्भयन् सर्वाश्च यातु धान्यः। असौ यस्ताम्रो अरुण उत बभ्रुः सुमङ्गलः। ये चेमागुन् रुद्रा अभितो दिक्षु श्रिता सहस्रशो वैशागुं हेडईमहे। असौ यो वसर्पति नीलग्रीवो विलोहितः। उतैनं गोपा अदृशन्नदृशन्नुदहार्यः। उतैनं विश्वा भूतानि सदृष्टो मृडयातिनः। नमो अस्तु नीलग्रीवाय सहस्राक्षाय मीढुषे। अथो ये अस्य सत्त्वानो हन्तेभ्यो करन्नमः। प्रमुञ्च धन्वनस्त्वमुभयोरात्नियोर्जाम्। याश्च ते हस्त इषवः पराता भगवो वप। अवतत्य धनुस्त्वगुं सहस्राक्षशते शुधे। निशीर्य शल्यानां मुखा शिवो नः सुमना भव। विज्जन्दनुः कपर्दिनो विशल्यो बाणवागुम् उत। अनेशन्नस्येषव आभुरस्य निषङ्गतिः। या ते हेतिर्मीधुष्टमहस्ते बभूव ते धनुः। तयास्मान् विश्वतस्त्वमयक्ष्मया परिभुज। नमस्ते अस्त्वायुधाय नातताय धृष्णवे। उभाभ्यामुत ते नमो बाहुभ्यां तव धन्वने। परिते धन्वनो हेतिरस्मान् ऋणक्तु विश्वतः। अथो य इषुधिस्तवारे अस्मन्निदेहितम्। सहस्राणि सहस्रशो ये रुद्राधिभूम्याम्। तेषागुं सहस्रयोजने वधन्वानि तन्मसि। अस्मिन् महत्यर्णवे एन्तरिक्षे भवा अधि। नीलग्रीवा शितिकण्ठा शर्वा अधः क्षमाचराः। नीलग्रीवा शितिकण्ठादिवगुं रुद्रा उपश्रिताः। ये वृक्षेषु सस्पिञ्जरा नीलग्रीवा विलोहिताः। ये भूतानामधिपतयो विशिखासः कपर्तिनः ये अन्येषु विविध्यन्ति पात्रेषु पिबतो जनान् ये पथां पथि रक्षय ऐलभृदायव्युधः ये तीर्थानि प्रचरन्ति सृकावन्तो निषङ्गिणः य एतावन्तश्च भूयागुंसश्च दिशो रुद्रावितस्थिरे तेषागुं सहस्रयोजने वधन्वानि तन्मसि नमो रुद्रेभ्यो ये पृथिव्यां ये एन्तरिक्षे ये दिवि ये शामन्नं वातो वर्षमिषवस्तेभ्यो दशः प्राचीर् दश दक्षिणा दशः प्रतीचीर् दशोदीचीर् दशोर्ध्वास्तेभ्यो नमस्ते नो मृडयन्तु तेयं विष्मो यश्च नो द्वेष्टितं वोजम्भे दधामि त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् यो रुद्रो अग्नौ यो अप्सु य ओषधीषु यो रुद्रो विश्वाभुवन विवेश तस्मै रुद्राय नमो अस्तु तमुष्टु हि यस्विषु सुधन्वायो विश्वस्य क्षयति भेषजस्य यक्ष्वामहे सौ मनसाय रुद्रं नमो भिर्देवमसुरं दुवस्य अयं मे हस्तो भगवान् अयं मे भगवत्तरः अयं मे विश्वभेषजो यगुं शिवाभिमर्शनः ये ते सहस्रमयुतं पाशामृत्योमर्त्याय हन्तवे तान्यज्ञस्य मायया सर्वानवयजामहे मृत्यवे स्वाहा मृत्यवे स्वाहा प्राणानां ग्रन्थिरसि रुद्रो मा विशान्तकः तेनान्नेनाप्यायस्व ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय विष्णवे मृत्युर्मे पाहि ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ निधनपतये नमः निधनपतान्तिकाय नमः ऊर्ध्वाय नमः ऊर्ध्वलिङ्गाय नमः हिरण्याय नमः हिरण्यलिङ्गाय नमः सुवर्णाय नमः सुवर्णलिङ्गाय नमः दिव्याय नमः दिव्यलिङ्गाय नमः भवाय नमः भवलिङ्गाय नमः शर्वाय नमः शर्वलिङ्गाय नमः शिवाय नमः शिवलिङ्गाय नमः ज्वलाय नमः ज्वललिङ्गाय नमः आत्माय नमः आत्मलिङ्गाय नमः परमाय नमः परमलिङ्गाय नमः एतत् सोमस्य सूर्यस्य सर्वलिङ्गगु स्थापयति पाणिमन्त्रं पवित्रम् सद्यो जातं प्रपद्यामि सद्यो जाताय वै नमो नमः भवे भवे नाति भवे भवस्व मां भवोद्भवाय नमः वामदेवाय नमो ज्येष्ठाय नमः श्रेष्ठाय नमो रुद्राय नमः कालाय नमः कलविकरणाय नमो बलविकरणाय नमो बलाय नमो बलप्रमथनाय नमः सर्वभूतदमनाय नमो मनोन्मनाय नमः अघोरेभ्योऽथ घोरेभ्यो घोरघोरतरेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः सर्वशर्वेभ्यो नमस्ते अस्तु रुद्ररूपेभ्यः तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महादेवाय धीमहि तन्नो रुद्रः प्रचोदयात् ईशानः सर्वविद्यानाम् ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां ब्रह्माधिपतिर्ब्रह्मणोऽधिपतिर्ब्रह्मा शिवो मे अस्तु सदा शिवोम् नमो हिरण्यबाहवे हिरण्यवर्णाय हिरण्यरूपाय हिरण्यपतये अम्बिकापतये उमापतये पशुपतये नमो नमः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देव नारायण नमोऽस्तु ते विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व साईश्वर अपराधसहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया दासोऽयमिति मां मत्वा क्षमस्व साईश्वर अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष साईश्वर हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु स्वस्तिः प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहीषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
जय गणराया श्री गणराया जय गणराया श्री गणराया जय गणराया श्री गणराया जय गणराया श्री गणराया मंगलमूर्ति मोरया सिद्धि विनायका मंगलदाता सिद्धि विनायका मंगलदाता अष्टविनायक मंगलदायक सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरण मंगलमूर्ति मोरया जय गणराया श्री गणराया जय गणराया श्री गणराया मंगलमूर्ति सिद्धि विनायक मंगलदाता अष्ट विनायक मंगलदायक मंगलमूर्ति सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा मंगलमूर्ति मंगलमूर्ति मोरया मंगलमूर्ति मोरया मंगलमूर्ति मोरया मंगलमूर्ति मोरया जय गणराया श्री गणराया जननी माँ साई जननी माँ जननी माँ साई जननी जननी माँ साई जननी माँ जननी माँ साई जननी माँ जननी माँ साई जननी प्रेम वाहिनी माँ ज्ञान वाहिनी माँ धर्म वाहिनी माँ ज्ञान वाहिनी प्रशांति वाहिनी चिर सुखदायिनी प्रशांति वाहिनी चिर सुखदायिनी जय जय साई माँ जय जय साई प्रशांति वाहिनी चिर सुखदायिनी जय जय साई माँ जय जय साई जननी माँ साई जननी माँ
शतबार कहूँ रे साई राम साई राम साई जय 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 हे मधुसूदना
Sai Avatara Yuga Avatara Sai Avatara Yuga Avatara Deen Dayala Sankatahara Deen Dayala Sankatahara Sai Avatara Yuga Avatara Sai Brahma Sai Vishnu Sai Brahma Sai Vishnu Sai Brahma Sai Vishnu Sai Brahma Sai Vishnu Sai Maheshwara Sai Maheshwara Sai Avatara Yuga Avatara Sathya Sai Prema Sai Sathya Sai Prema Sai सब धर्मों के बाबा साई सब धर्मों के बाबा साई साई परमेश्वरा साई परमेश्वरा Sai Avatara Yuga Avatara Deen Dayala Sankatahara Sai Avatara Yuga Avatara Sai Brahma Sai Vishnu Sai Brahma Sai Vishnu Sai Maheshwara Sai Avatara Yuga Avatara Sathya Sai Prema Sai Sathya Sai Prema Sai सब धर्मों के बाबा साई सब धर्मों के बाबा साई साई परमेश्वरा साई परमेश्वरा
गुरु चरण कमल ज्ञान धरो गुरु चरण कमल ज्ञान धरो साई साई स्मरण करो केशव माधव भजन करो केशव माधव भजन करो सद्गुरु साई सेवा करो सद्गुरु साई सेवा करो साई साई स्मरण करो गुरु चरण कमल ध्यान धरो साई साई स्मरण करो केशव माधव भजन करो सद्गुरु साई सेवा करो सद्गुरु साई सेवा करो साई साई स्मरण करो
ईश्वराम्बा प्रियनन्दना ईश्वराम्बा प्रियनन्दना
तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ श्रीभास्कराय विद्महे साईदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सूर्यः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ प्रेमात्मनाय विद्महे हिरण्यगर्भाय धीमहि तन्नः सत्यः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ तत्सत् श्रीनारायण पुरुषोत्तम गुरुतो सिद्धमोदतो सन्नविनायक सविता पावकतो सविता पावकतो पिता प्रभु तो रुद्र विष्णु तो राम कृष्ण तो रहीमताओ तो रहीमताओ तो वासुदेव गोविश्वरूप तो शिवानंद हरि तो अद्वितीय तो अकाल निर्भय आत्मलिंग शिव तो आत्मलिंग शिव तो आत्मलिंग शिव तो ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पणतीका आश्रित कल्पणतीका आवधानवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे मात पिता गुरुदेव मरियंतयो नीवे स्वामी मरियंतयो नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नागेंद्र शयना ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी ओ साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंगुको मंगल आरती अंगुको मंदर गिरिधारे ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि सर्वप्रचोदयात् साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् 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 शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।